All right, let's take a look at your chapter 4 homework. First question, this is problem number 1. It says describe the difference between a histogram and a dot plot. When might a dot plot be better than a histogram? Histogram is better for large data sets. It's typically, it simplifies it. So it's a good summary. And of course, the dot plot would be better for small data sets. It's pretty simple. That's all they want on that one. All right, number 2, we're going to be looking at, looks like it's your quartiles. Remember, quartiles are in groups of 4. You got 25, 50, 75, and of course 100. And they want the median. And of course, in this one, they give you the data set. It looks like in this case, there's 11 observations. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Note also that everything is arranged in sequential format from low to high. So you don't have to rearrange. Typically, you would want to rearrange those. So if you want to find the median, and here's your formula, you can go back and look in the book, but I'll write it out. Your formula will be, let me write this, my stylus, n plus 1 multiplied by p over 100. P is going to be whatever percentile you're looking for. In this case, the median is going to be the 50th. So what you would do is you take 11 plus 1, and then you're going to multiply that by 50 over 100. And once you get that, you're going to get the place of position, which in this case is the 6th position. So what you have to do is simply count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like 53 would be your median. The first quartile is also the 25th percentile. So you'd go 11 plus 1, n plus 1 times 25 over 100 to find our place of position. When you do that, you're going to get 3. That's your 3rd position. So you just have to count. 1, 2, 3. It looks like that's going to be 49. That's your first quartile. And your 3rd quartile is your 75th percentile. So again, you would go 11 plus 1, multiply that by 75 over 100. And in this case, you're going to get the 9th position. It just happens to be right at 9. So you count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. 9, so you'd be 55. That would be, of course, your 3rd quartile. All right, that's problem 2. Now, problem 3 is they want you to do a correlation coefficient. And I went ahead and I worked this out in Excel, and I'll send this to you. So here's what you got to do on this one. Follow your formula on your correlation coefficient. I went ahead and set up a table. And as you can see, I have calculated the mean. Excel did not round these, by the way. I'm just showing these in 2 decimal formats, but the mean, the rooms is your X variable, labor is going to be your Y. So the mean's 2.63, and for the labor hours is 20.27. And I set up a couple columns because remember, for your correlation coefficient, you have to calculate the standard deviation of X and the standard deviation of Y. So I set up these first 4 columns for you to go ahead and get those standard deviations. So remember, this is a sample. So to get that sample standard deviation, you have to divide by 14, not 15. It's n minus 1. So I went ahead and I showed you that right there. And let me just show you in the Excel cell. If you see the Excel right up here, you can see how I divided by 14 and not 15. And of course, let me just remind you on this one, in case you're searching to figure out what that formula for the correlation. Remember, correlation, the label is R equals, and it's going to be the summation of your X minus X bar times Y minus Y bar, which I did right here, all divided by, and it's n minus 1 multiplied by the standard deviation of X multiplied by the standard deviation of Y. So essentially what I did was I took that 141.47, that's the summation of those. And then of course it's 15 minus 1 or 14 multiplied by my standard deviation of X, which was about 1.2, we'll call it 1.22 times 10.04. I'm just kind of, to illustrate, I'm just showing you this because these numbers right over here are not rounded. I'm just kind of just showing you. And then of course you're going to get about 0.82 as your correlation. So again, I hope this one helps. You have to do a little bit of calculation on this one on your correlation coefficient. All righty, that is, I guess it's problem 3. Let me minimize that. All right, let's go to problem 4. And on this one, you're just looking at a contingency table. You'll note that you've got desserts ordered, yes or no, what time of day, lunch or dinner. You can see how if you add up the two verticals, you get 100. Everything always in the right-hand corner is your total sample. Notice they collected from 200 recent orders. The level of measurement, everything's going to be nominal. And of course, this table is called a contingency table. And then I think on letter C, they want you to do a couple calculations. Does the data suggest that the customers are more likely to order dessert? And so, again, you just have to get the numbers. All you do is take, it looks like it's 117. That's the yes. 117 out of the 200 would give you about 58.5%. And then they talk about at lunchtime, your lunchtime order, they're focusing only on this column right here. So it's 32 out of 100, and that's going to give you the 32% on that one. I think, oh, and then one more, and then at dinner time, it's going to be the same thing, but for dinner time, they're focusing on this column, so it's 85 out of 100, so that would give you 85%, which is letter E. And I think that's that on that one. And then last one, this would be number 5, another contingency table. Again, the difference between this one and problem 4, let me just compare them. You'll notice in problem 4, they went ahead and gave you a total column, and they didn't do that in problem 5. So in problem 5, I would suggest you go ahead and do that. Let me go back there. And so notice, if you just, like, for example, what I would do as you work this problem is think about maybe setting up a total column here, you know, and add up your 2 rows. And then I would also do the same thing for your columns and make sure that you get back to your total. That total, of course, would be 139,340. Of course, they let the zeros out. And then they just want you to answer a couple of questions about percent of unemployed. Of course, for your percent of unemployed, I'll go ahead and just show you the calculations down below. And again, if you have a question on this one, just let me know. You're going to be dividing by your total in your population. Everybody who's unemployed, divide by that total. And then they want you to do, in this case, what percent of men are employed and what percent of women are unemployed. It's the same thing, 5.6 and 5.1%. And I think that takes care of your chapter 4 homework.